roasted shit. It's okay, that's how the game is played. You thought you could be fired, but didn't know how to get paid.
The I Hate podcast show, yo, with your boy Heff. Hey, this is like almost an honor. And when I mean almost, it's because that's my friend. But it's not like, it's like I could just.
Friend, it's so okay. You know when you actually, not to cut you off, but it's dope when you like somebody.
Yeah.
People, I got love for you, but when you like somebody as a person,
yeah,
that's my friend right there, man. It's an honor for me to be on here, bro.
No. Look, all right, so this is a limited series. I'm doing special interviews with certain people that wow me, right? So right here we have Keith Brougham. Now, I gotta go back real quick before we get into the now. For those that probably don't know, especially the younger generation, I was on radio for 25 years. And one of the first record reps, I could name like the first 10 record reps that I met that I actually still talk to after radio and records. And Keith is one of them. We call him Big Keith though, because he ain't no little ass dude. That's just Big Keith. And I believe I met you when you were at Def Jam.
Yeah.
And I remember it was you. Yeah, it was you and I think there's one Dominican cat. I can't think of his name. I haven't talked to him in years, but
Tom, my man Tom.
Yeah. Y'all were the only two that would service me in my market. So let me take it back for y'all. Everything's broken down in markets, and where I was at in Texas, it was like a certain group of record reps that serviced our market, but not the records that me and Mark X needed. So Mark X and I started traveling. That's how we were going to Puerto Rico. We were going to Miami. Mark went to the Bay. I went to LA. Like, we were just going all over, and we were meeting all these different record reps that didn't even service our market, but ended up servicing market me. And Keith was one of them. And that's how we were getting blessed with white label Def Jam records that nobody had, and we were breaking records in El Paso before Dallas and Houston. So I just want people to know, what was it like being in the record, as a promoter, before you even got into music like that? Where are you from to begin with?
Okay, so, man, shout out to everybody that's tuned in. But, Big Keith, man, originally from Oakland, California. I ended up on the East Coast, going to a HBCU. I went to Hampton University in Virginia. I started on the Def Jam street team back in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. When Def Jam was at its, like heightened with DMX, Ja Rule, Jay-Z, and all of that stuff. So we were on the street team and ended up, I did the street team for about like 3-4 years and ended up going to J Records with my man Rob Love. And that's for my first executive position as a mix show manager. And when I left J Records and went over to Russell Simmons Music Group is when I met you. So
yeah,
to go back and answer your initial question. So my original passion for music has always been writing and singing. Mm-hmm. But my mother has always been keen on education, and she was always nervous of me being an artist because it's a treacherous game.
Right.
Especially for a certain artist if you don't know it and you don't have the resources. And me coming from the Bay Area, that was pretty much, the story, because I'm not from LA. So she was always preaching me playing beat. So when I had the situation to join the street team, I'm like, I'm gonna go hard. I'm gonna show the bosses that, I really want this. And if I can get on to an artist, I get on. But if I can get on to an executive, I get on that way. And that was just. It really was no ulterior motive. It was just my goal, and I went to go for it. And I was the biggest cat on the street team, putting up poster boards, and I made sure I worked the hardest. So I wanted to work even harder than the guy smaller than me. So right. People like, this cat out here doing his thing. And when my boss left Def Jam to go to J Records. Clive Davis hired him. Rob Love, you know Rob Love.
Shout out to Rob Love.
Shout out to Rob Love, man. That's the go to the street promotions. That's the cat that gave me my stripes, and that's my man. That's Big Bro. So he called me one day and he told me what was happening, and he wanted me to come up. And so we did the J Records thing for a minute. And all of this stuff to me was fulfilling because I made it. I was able to call my mom and do all this stuff, and she was able to brag. Deep down inside, it really wasn't like feeling my whole passion for music. So but the beautiful thing is I was able, because life in general is based off relationships. So through those years, man, I was on the East Coast from California, and I was talking to DJs like yourself and Mark X and anybody else. So this is how it started, and this is why you guys talk to me a lot more than a lot of other reps. Some DJs are not approachable, and some DJs are kind of Hollywood, and they're the ones that on every day and a weekend, you know, they might not be as approachable to a brand new record label rep, you know what I'm saying, especially if it's somebody else at the label that from there that they speak with.
Right.
So they told me to call the cats this on the weekend, because you're going to grow with them. Yeah. And call the cats, you know what I'm saying, the markets that they not necessarily get that attention. Yeah. And you go hard and you treat them like the A market. Yeah. And I just was always a person that I like the idea of people liking me. Like my mother told me a long time ago, because she only had 2 boys and she didn't like liars. She said, I don't like liars because a liar will cheat from you, eventually steal, and might kill you. She said, and you don't have any friends. And I like the idea of having friends. I'm a people person. So I like to keep my word, and I don't like to lie, you know what I'm saying? And just certain stuff on that. So I wanted to just engage and just indulge in what I was doing and building these relationships and lasting relationships away from just the music. Like we talked before we got on this interview about the family, how we know each other's story about the family, and you know what I'm saying, my losses and your gains with your little grandson, all this stuff and life that brings us, you know what I'm saying, through our journeys. But some people that work in the music industry, they're there for the moment, and they don't necessarily treat the relationship pure and genuine and righteous like they should. And it's okay, and I don't fault them, because those people are needed in life. The world goes around for everybody can't be the same. That's what makes the world go around. Everybody's different. For certain people like me, you are real. We can get on this call right now. You've been supporting me even after I got out of working records, and I came to you with no budget, just a dream and a passion and a goal. You said, bro, that's what I'm gonna go to the same DJs that took me from the street team and made me an executive, because I didn't do that alone. Yeah. It wasn't me putting up poster boards. It was the DJs calling New York and talking back to the bosses at Def Jam and digging me up. Yeah. Rest in peace, cool DJ Law from Norfolk. Wow.
Yeah, DJ Law. Yeah.
Law, Paul, my big bro, very influential in getting me to New York. When Rob Love called and asked him, he said, hell yeah, man. Bring Keith. We need one of us up there. And he's a good dude. And he ain't gonna shit on the DJs. He not gonna forget. And again, man, that's like, I hold that to my heart, because from every step, from the street team to executive, and from executive to me calling you and you blasting off with my girlfriend and doing the TikTok and still playing it at the skating rinks. Yeah. And this is me. And to have that evolution and to have these same DJs with me, you have to understand how that feel, bro. That when I say bro, when I say friend, I really mean that. Like truly, because it ain't about, at my age and being an older artist, it's not about attaining no riches, man. Like my mama left me 5 pensions when she left up out of here, because she worked hard and sacrificed. She didn't go to Dubai, she didn't go to Puerto Rico, she didn't do none of that. But she worked hard. Like when I used to see you with your grandson, and you go to the station. But when your daughter, you had him all the time. Yeah. Like you work hard, but you work hard, and you show them as a role model. That's our lineage. That's going to be who we look up to, and we show them that. And that's all I've ever known is working hard. And so I say that to say that I don't care about the riches and all that. I just care about just actually going forward and believing in myself and being that story, another story, because everybody has a story, a success story, and everybody has stuff going on in life. But I want to be a story to show people that you can push forward and go through it.
Now, the thing that's actually interesting about that is it's almost like a parallel situation because of the fact that, okay, so when I left radio in 2019, I was done with the industry. I didn't think nothing of it. I was good. I had a good run, and I wasn't tripping. And COVID hit. I was like, oh God, I need a job because I need some insurance. And I had met this kid named TB Honest. And me and him were talking. Like, when I tell you he was like one of the most phenomenal rappers I've ever met in my life, I was like, I told him, hey, I don't care. Let's make an album. He was like, word? I was like, yeah, let's make an album. I'm gonna put it out. I'll use my money to put it out and everything. But we have to make this album. And then the crazy part was when we were talking about it right in 2020, in the beginning of the year, I got into it with my brother. And like how you're from a household with you and your brother, that's me and my brother, but me and my brother didn't jive. And so, cause he was like 9 years older than me. So we just didn't jive. It wasn't that we didn't like each other. We were just two different eras.
Too far apart.
Yeah.
I get it. It was two different eras. I get it.
Yeah, and so we went. I'll never forget. He asked me for some money, and the way he did it turned me off so bad. I blocked him, and so when I blocked him, I didn't talk to him. I didn't talk to him for like 6 months, and then one of my cousins were like, "Well, I don't know if he's dead or homeless, but have you reached out to him?" I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Well, on September, I remember the date like it was nothing. It was September 16th, 2000. A hospital called and told me my brother had passed, right? And I left, and I don't feel guilt. What I felt was, I blocked that nigga. I should have, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was thinking about it. And so what we ended up, it was just me, my daughter. Okay, it was me and my daughter, and then TV came over, and we said, and we weren't talking. We were just sitting there. And my daughter kept saying, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah." I'm just shocked that I found out he died on June 1st. I'm just finding out in September. Like, I was more concerned about that when I was the point of contact. And then so we ended up making an album, and I think, which I thought was just a phenomenal album, because we really took our time in 2021. We released it. And I remember I went to you, I went to Tony Neal, and I went to two other people. And the only reason why I went to you four was because I still held the relationship with you guys. So
You remember what I told you? I remember what I told you. As you said me, I remember what I told you. So
Yeah.
I want you to remember exactly what I told you.
yeah, you were like, "Say let's go, and we're gonna get it done."
I was my feeling though. I don't know if you knew my internal feeling. I was shocked and I was impressed. I was shocked and I was impressed, but to know where it came from, bro.
Yeah.
You might not have been close, and you might be okay, but deep down inside, I know.
Well, I did my directorial debut. I directed my first video. I produced videos before, but I never directed, and I had ended up naming the first single after my brother. So my brother's name was Maurice Cornell, and when I did on that album, instead of naming them song titles, I named every song after somebody that I knew that died, that were like close to, like, either family or real close friends, and I named every song after them. And so the when I released that record, the song had nothing to do with them, but it just, I put the name on there because that's something that's gonna last forever, right? And when I did that, and when my daughter's on the record, because my daughter did the hook with me, and then she did a poem at the end, and then of course it was me and TV, and then I produced the track, and then my grandson's in the video. So it was just me, my grandson, my daughter, and TV, and we shot it in my house. We shot it at my house with Tony Duenas, which is my mentor, and we did the whole like. I thought we shot it in we shot it in like 4K. Like we did it like so nice that when we released it, I released it I think right before Christmas of 2021, and people just were like blown away by the video or the visual that I remember going to you.
The sound,
everything was just perfect.
It was just perfect. It was dope. So much so that I'm glad. Like everything happens for a reason. And I wrote a song. And I was beginning to write a song because I'm the exact kind of opposite. I know you weren't the arch enemies with your brother, but I'm kind of like, so me and my brother were a year and a half apart.
Oh.
Kind of like basically a year apart. And so you guys were at another scale of being 9, and so me and my brother were at the level where when he went somewhere, my mama let him.
Yeah, y'all had to go together.
and because my parents grew up in homes where they weren't close with their siblings, they both agreed that they were going to raise their boys to be close.
Yeah.
So if we thought that we were going to fight, my daddy would come down and my mama almost kill us. There was no fighting. So what I want to do, because my brother loved to dance.
Yeah.
He's from Cali and he loved to dance.
Mm-hmm.
And you love those tracks. I want you to produce me and you a track that we can do for our brothers.
Okay.
And it's gonna be that because it's been hard for me. I want to do that record for him.
All right.
I got another one for him though. I got one for him that is a slower record because my brother. It is what it is, man, because we go through stuff, and we was just talking about life and divorce, and my brother in his last, he was dying, he died of stress and heart, and diabetes and heart failure.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in a bad marriage.
Yeah.
And sometimes we stay in there, we waiting for our kids, and we fighting for our kids, and don't realize the kids will be okay, and we can co-parent, and we can be at peace amongst each other, and not be at each other's fighting. Now that he's gone, I got a record that I wrote the week he died, called I Want a Divorce. But also keeping it respectful to my nieces and my nephew's mother.
Right. Which I like that.
That's their mama. That's their mama.
Right.
And that's my brother's kids, but that's their mama, so I'm not going to ever talk bad. Their personal feelings about whatever is my personal feelings. But what I want to do on this record.
Exactly.
But I Want a Divorce was just basically a story for guys just going through it, and we just sticking around for the kids, and we go through it and might stress ourselves out. So that's that record. But the record I want to do with you is my brother loved to dance, man. He taught me how to dance. You know what I'm saying? That's what he liked to do. So I want a feel good record for him, because I got it for this record. I gotta write this because I'm not gonna be able to record it if it's a sad record or a down tempo.
Right. No, I got it.
Because I was that close to him. So when I write it and I record it, I gotta have in my brain him dancing and him having fun and him smiling. So let's do that record. Let's do that record, bro.
How do you feel, Keith? No, you don't even have to ask, bro. Just say to get it done. How do you feel about ageism in music, especially in the black community versus anybody else? Like, there's no ageism in like different genres like rock, country. Why is it anything like black? Like, not even soul music to a degree.
It's predominantly hip hop. It's predominantly hip hop and R&B, but mostly hip hop.
Yeah.
And that's because so pretty much all the genres of music, and I study because I love music. The hippies they're pretty much my favorite generation because they grew up.
Yeah.
The hippies smoked weed, they got high, they did all this free love and all this stuff they were doing, but they grew up and they got homes and they all. And so what I always say to older hip hop artists, Southern Soul is different because it's more conducive for older people because it's the demographic, the general demographic is the older crowd. And that's because the older consumers that grew off hip hop, that might have loved DMX back in the day, or when we were back here doing our thing in the 90s and 2000s, they've grown up now. They got kids, and some of them have grandkids. Mm-hmm. So I can show you. I can show it to you right now if I can find it. But we get AARP.
Oh, I got it during COVID. Don't worry.
We get that in the mail. But there's not one rapper that has partnered with AARP to get that bag. Because people aren't there, but go get that bag.
That is true.
Talk about real life situations, man, and then evolve. And when you evolve the lyrical content of hip hop, then you will bring back that consumer. Because right now, they where them fans at. They doing all of that. That right now is the number one R&B, the number one urban record in the country. And it just beat out Chris Brown. Residuals was on his way down anyway. But that shout out to that record, CVVA. That record did, you know what I'm saying? But it's 803 Fresh, Boots on the Ground. It's Southern Soul.
Yeah. Well, wait, before you go into, listen, this is what's crazy about that. I moved to Houston, right? And I moved to Houston a while back, and I have a friend, one of my best friends that lives in San Antonio. All he listens to is blues music, right? He goes to the Blues Fest in Louisiana and all that stuff. I started going to DJ in New Orleans. So I'm in New Orleans 3-4 times a year. And I started noticing Southern Soul. Like, well, because it's a, like down here in Texas, or in South Texas, it's like a concoction of stuff. It's like gumbo, right? So it's like, you go, it's a little bit of blues, it's soul music, country, and Zydeco, which, if you go out west, ain't nobody know what Zydeco is. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, if you never been to Louisiana, you got no idea what Zydeco is, right? You have no idea what the accordion and all, like just the way they play and how these women react to that sound. And I started noticing it with certain artists, and I was like, I think I got like a King George record or something like that. I remember I played it here in Houston at this party with like 90% of the people there was women. And they, you know, women for some reason down here find a line dance for any goddamn song. And I'm like, God damn. Like, I played Michael Jackson, they don't really care about us. There's a line dance to that shit here. Yeah. So I'm sitting here like, so I'm you know, me being a 100% hip hop head, to what you're saying is true. It's like there's a whole new lane, because ain't nobody trying to look at the dude with the like a 45-year-old dude still wearing baggy clothes, and
you're still talking about the same stuff that we know you're not doing.
Right.
You know, it's not happening because it's just not happening. Like there's other ways. You don't have to just sound corny when you're talking about getting older, man. Like, just write a record about going to they don't know. I don't know, man, but you know what I'm saying.
Nigga, I'm going to go get blood work done.
Oh, he bought the lyrics, and I got bills, and I'm like, I'm fine, and I like write more records like Ain't No Bitch in Me versus, you know what I'm saying, out here talking about hustling and shit that these youngsters is doing. Because first of all, there's no money in the streets like that, on that street element, to be talking that stuff anyway.
Right.
So it's not like the crack era and the eras where there was money for young people. It's not. That's why a lot of these young generation, they call themselves the crash out generation, because they have a term that they created called crashing out, where they want to do something randomly crazy, just like the cat. All these R.I.P. to all these young rappers and entertainers getting killed. Yeah. The young cat that just got killed in Memphis.
Yeah.
They just put a picture of his killer. Light as day, they're looking for him. They got the killer. They got him. Then 2 days later, they knew who it was. Yep. So to do something like that and to honestly have nowhere to go. Because in America, as a black American in America, you have nowhere to go.
That's, man.
And you have a family member.
Yeah.
Because every family, because it's human nature, every family, no matter the race, has a level of dysfunction.
Yeah.
We just have a higher level. So I say that to say, there's somebody in our family that's going to tell on us for the right amount of money.
Bang.
There's somebody, a cousin, that's going to tell where we at. So you have nowhere to go. So to go do that, it's not making any sense to me. Whereas we're more powerful together, where we can combine each other and build each other up and lift each other up. But and it's sad that it takes us to get older to see this. And that's why I try to tell my nephews, man, stay out the way. Try to stay focused on having a plan. And because you can't, some mistakes that you make, you cannot change your life, and you cannot get that back. And sometimes you might have to go away and you're going to do something for that mistake. Now, if you make a mistake in class or a simple mistake, that's whatever, you can change that. But if you're out here committing crimes and doing something that you shouldn't be doing,
you can't change that.
You can't change that. We're not off that, and that's why I'm so grateful. Like my brother passed, and he left his son, and my nephew was coming on the road with me, and I'm able to keep my promise to my brother because he's not here to be that. He's not here to be that. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope to me.
No, it's a hard lesson being, growing up in the 80s during the crack epidemic and not realizing the after effects of all of that. You had crack babies. We forget that they grew up.
They grew up and they had babies.
And their babies is just as jacked. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy. I tell anybody, my mother always raised me to respect people in the element that sold drugs.
Yeah.
But she said, nobody in my household is going to put no drug dealer on a pedestal with Jesus or on a throne with Jesus. Like some people in our community, we like to praise drug dealers and laugh at dope fiends.
Yeah.
And to me, it's twisted because both of them was messed up. And I don't judge somebody past the fact that everybody knows the story of how it got in the hood. But at the point where you know what it's going to do, and honestly, some people did know. Because after years of going on and you saw this crack and this epidemic, and you still do it. And you still do it, that's selfish, man. And there's nothing to praise.
No, there isn't. And being from cities that were down and out during that epidemic, a lot of people in the country or, in smaller communities never knew what actually went on till it was already too late and it hit there. And by the time it hit there, it was already too late for them. So because they were so far behind that I had made a joke that this comedian had made and somebody got offended. And I said, where the crackheads at, man? I'd rather have a crackhead around me than what these new designer drugs is doing because the crackhead at least will work. And I was like, at least they gonna try to earn their keep.
They're gonna do whatever they do.
Yeah, and I was like, these others, they're so messed up. Like, they're like walking zombies. They're useless to society, right? And then you're feeling bad for them, kind of, because you're trying to figure out what got you to that point that you needed to do this particular drug to, you know what I mean? And so it seems to me us growing up in the crack era isn't as bad. It was horrible, but it isn't as bad as what these people are going through now. And then we're dealing with kids like 15, 16-year-old kids with 27-year-old mamas or 27-year-old daddies that are locked up. Like, it's just getting bad.
I agree with you. But what I'll say is, overall, right now, the drug epidemic, overall for America as a whole, is just horrible.
No, it's worse, I believe.
It's worse. It is honestly, it's worse than the crack era.
Yeah.
But the crack era targeted and honestly ruined the black community.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's why I sit there and home in on the crack era, because it ruined the black community. This meth and all this fentanyl, it's ruining everybody's community now.
Yeah.
It's messed up everywhere now. You know what I'm saying? So, and people, and the thing is, like the police are saying, these guys are selling fentanyl. They not no scientists. They don't know what.
They don't know. No, but they're putting it. They're putting it into. But they're putting it into like, to me, weed. I've never ever in my life had a problem with weed ever. But I also rolled mine. I never smoked a pre-roll. I ain't never did none of that. And so what these dealers are doing to get the addiction or putting it in the weed unknowingly, and these people that are buying pre-rolls and all that are smoking fentanyl and don't even know it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I'm like,
You gotta have a seal on it, bro. You gotta have a seal.
yeah.
It's flour. I don't mess with
No, I'm saying nobody. No, but see, again, we're from a different breed. Yeah, like it's like nah. I used to tell my daughter, I was like, I don't touch no flour without like it doesn't. I can't have it go through 10 hands before it gets to me. I won't touch it.
We're from an era where we would go to the weed spot, and the weed they took their business serious because they get like that's how they made their money. It's like a business.
Correct.
So they're not gonna serve no bad stuff like nobody dying off no weed.
No, not off no weed. Now, other shit, we can say that, but I'm with you. It.
So I don't know. But all that other stuff that people dealing with, they might take that. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm sure they might because that helps them cut it or whatever. But at the end of the day, the drug epidemic, and we can talk for hours about how bad it's getting. But I just sit there and I teach my nephews, and I really teach your grandson and other little youngsters that you gotta love before this in your family. The right way to do it, man. I just feel like it starts at home. It truly starts at home. Like I'm seeing a lot of these youngsters out here doing stuff, killing and robbing. And my mama knew where I was at 14.
Mine too.
I was at 13. I was at 16. I remember wanting to go out for my high school graduation party. My mom said, nah, but you need to go out. You get to college, you go out all the time you want to, because I ain't going to be around. But right now I'm around here. If I got something to say about it, so she didn't let me go out. And somebody got killed that night.
Yep. Absolutely, man.
So I thank God. So I thank God for the structure. And my man, my big bro DJ, D-Dub in Chicago, he had a slogan that always said, "Bring structure back to the home."
Yeah.
Bringing structure back has obviously nothing to do with just being a single parent.
No, it's just yeah.
It's just bringing structure and bringing responsibility
and accountability.
Make sure the kids are accountable. And you know what I'm saying? And if you start early, then you won't have the teenagers that's been snapping back or doing this or doing that. They're gonna respect you. They're gonna appreciate you. Because my mama was little when we was bigger. We played football. You know what I'm saying? But she put the fear of God in us early. It never will be once. Think. You know what I'm saying? Like ever. So it's different times now. But I still feel like it starts at home. And if you bring that structure back to home and you raise your kids the right way and give them opportunities, instead I see a lot of mamas going here, going there, and focus on them and the persons and the vacations. And case in point, when COVID hit, and they were giving out all these free computers.
Oh yeah.
And I saw those two kids had to go use the free Wi-Fi at the fast food that went viral.
Yeah, I remember.
And the mama went wrong. And my thing is, if you're getting this and you're buying that, why not invest in the light that you brought into the world? I mean, I don't know. Everybody is different. I was just raised this way.
No, it's true.
She didn't have it, but we grew up from East Oakland.
Yeah.
So she didn't want us to fall victim to the streets. So she sacrificed and sent me and my mother to private school. All I ever know was private school, bro. All I ever know was Christian, brother, critical thinking. I went to an all-boys school, high school. I didn't want to go. My mother was gonna beat me up.
You didn't have a choice.
I didn't have a choice. Just like I didn't have a choice. I had a choice of what college I was going to. I didn't have a choice of me going to college. She's like, you're going to college. So I kind of rebelled since I did all these private schools through elementary and high school. I chose the HBCU because I'm from California and we don't know anything about historically black colleges and universities in California.
That's true.
Because they don't exist. They have one that's quote unquote supposed to be one in LA, but it's a medical school.
Yeah.
And it's not a traditional. I mean, they stamped it as a HBCU because it's traditionally that, but it's not. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you're looking at a more well-rounded situation like Hampton, Howard.
When I went to Hampton, I went to Howard Homecoming. When I was in Freaknik and going to the AUC, and I'm seeing all of these people that look like me and they're on campus, and we party, but at the end of the day, when we go to class, we're all there for a goal to go strive and do something more than what I was seeing in East Oakland on the streets. So that's a culture shift, and that's shifting. And I always say, desegregation opportunity that helped us.
Right.
Because we and I always say that, because, we got opportunities, but I say that to say that we left the stores and our stores and our communities and our doctors, and we went elsewhere. Versus now, there is no whites only water fountain, because I just went to the grocery store yesterday and the price went up. They convinced everybody, no matter the rice, that you got to buy the water in a bottle. So it's a big business. So out of the end, but guess what you still have? You have Chinatown, you have Koreatown, you have Little Italy, you have whatever section, because I have my building and I love them to death. It's Latino, and they take care of me, feed me with it, they cook it. So I love everybody because I went to Catholic school. But I also am a historian, and I love who I am, and I also am able to call it what it is. So I see what might have been better. And I see the lack of unity started long ago. The killing of each other that started long ago.
Yeah.
But I pray for your grandson and my nieces and my nephews and their kids and their grandkids. At a certain point, we all just figure it out and realize that human nature and the human race in general, especially here, like we gotta do, and then more importantly, me and my people gotta do that. That's why I love Southern Soul. Southern Soul is predominantly started in Mississippi, and right now it's going through the different bowls of Mississippi, Georgia, and now South Carolina. Shout out to DJ Payton, B-Lord, my big bro, DJ Payton.
It was huge here at the rodeo 2 weeks ago. Like, that's all you heard at the rodeo.
See, so it's growing. Like, it's just so growing, and it's big, definitely at the rodeo.
Oh, it's Zydeco season. It's crawfish season. Yeah.
And Beyonce grew up off of the culture.
Yeah.
But shout out to Beyonce.
Yeah.
For bringing the light through her major platform. Shout out to Stetson. Y'all see the Stetson? We rocking with Stetson like Beyonce and Bruno. You know what I'm saying? But that culture, because the first cowboys were honestly Mexican, the vaqueros, and they taught the Buffalo Soldiers how to do the cattle, because when the Buffalo Soldiers who were in the military got out of the war, the military didn't want the black soldier fraternizing in certain parts of America where it was like, you know what I'm saying, they didn't trust it. They knew they fought for the war, and they knew that, and they respected that and appreciate that, but it still was a need.
They didn't appreciate shit,
They sent us out west. They sent us out west.
They did. They were trying to get us out of their head.
They sent us out west to deal with the Indians.
Yeah. The Indians, we're the same.
And that's how initially the West was kind of taken over. They sent the Buffalo, so they sent those former airmen and those troops.
Yeah.
That were part of the Buffalo Soldiers, and they sent them out there, and they were the first black men to wear cowboy hats. The Stetson were created in 1865, and that's what they called them, the cowboy. They rattled and when they were hustling, they herd the cattle.
Yeah.
So herd the cows in, boy.
Well, yeah, that's what cowboy came from. Cowboy is
That's where it came. It was a derogatory.
Yeah, it's a derogatory term. This is why it kills me when they talk about country music. And I'm sitting here like, man, y'all didn't create country music.
No, not at all. Country music was created. But again, if you evolve and you want better, that's why I thank God for my mother in the background of putting me through Catholic school.
Yeah.
Because I had to, like, I can love my people and I can have this conversation with you and anybody, and I can be, you know what I'm saying? I don't never play the black part, but I can love who I am, and I can tell the truth about this country.
But wait. Hold up. When you okay, because this is what had bugged me out about you, right? So you were promoting your music, right? And so you had like a gang of shorts, and on Instagram, on YouTube, TikTok, and I was like, your shorts to me are the dopest I've ever seen, because for one, like I said, I go to New Orleans a lot. I don't even hang out on Bourbon. I hang out in Frenchman and with the locals. And it's like every song that you make captures or embodies that culture. Even with the videos you make, I mean, there's this one. I love women too. All right, so the type of women that you're championing are the one. Like it shows our age, but in a good light. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not in a negative sense. It's not. It's like showing like beauty of how we see everything. You know, like it's.
You're right. You're so right, bro. You're so right. You're right. I like. So women say, and it's known as men that are attracted to women, we love with our eyes.
Yeah.
We're visual beings. So we love with our eyes, and I got the song called Good Loving, and it's typically, you know what I'm saying, I can tell by the way you walk, I know that you're, you know what I'm saying, that your loving is good. And there's a dirty version to that, but nonetheless, that's me. I when I started back writing, I was, you know what I'm saying, getting back into it because one of my favorite movies is The Five Heartbeats.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And because I love music, and it was so genuine. And the reason why it was so genuine is because these weren't music stars trying to play Hollywood people. These were Robert Townsend and other Hollywood actors playing artists. And they actually pulled it off. And one of the statements that came is when Robert Townsend said, somebody told him, and he realized that when that girl had broken his heart, sleep with his brother, he's like, you're gonna write your best music when you feel your worst pain.
When you feel your worst pain, yo.
And when I sat there, brother, and my mama died, and my brother, because he was the oldest, and the oldest child has a different bond with the mama, because she's the one that made her a mother.
Uh-huh.
So he kind of was missing her, and he passed a year after my mother. So I lost my mother and my only sibling back to back. So I'm sitting there in this tremendous pain, and I'm sitting there hearing this music, and that's what came to me as an outlet to write this music. So I wrote the Ain't No Bitch in Me and the Good Loving and all of this stuff. And again, these aren't weirdo pervert type records. You know, Southern Soul is kind of racy. The lyrics,
it's some real shit. No, for real.
It's real music.
Yeah.
That's why it fits. When I write music, I want to write music. I don't want to write music about I got more money than you. I don't want to write music God can take your woman. I don't want to write music about stuff that just doesn't truly matter. Because the target demographic at our age is the mamas, the aunties, and the grandmothers. And it's the older cats that like those mamas, aunties, and grandmothers. I want to come to the party. So it's about the vibe. And that's what Southern Soul to me is. And yeah, you got some Southern Soul records that are racy. Not as racy as hip hop and not as derogatory.
Nah, bro, those songs.
But it's just about the vibe. It's feel good, like the funky $40.
Yeah, but those songs, man. If the same women, and they're grown now, right? So the same grown woman back in like the early '90s, dancing the 2 Live Crew, Luke, and all that. They ain't changed their taste.
No, but they evolve. So you keep it kind of like that. It's racy a little bit.
Yeah, you don't have to be disrespectful.
But you ain't got to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
Because it's still a woman, and it's still most of them are mothers and grandmamas, and they done been through it, and they done been through. So my target, as far as the mamas, the aunties, and the grannies, they done been through all kind of shit that they do, and they ex-husbands or boyfriends and baby daddies or whatever.
Yeah, they ready to turn up.
So they trying to have fun and vibe out.
Yep.
But if they sense that you on that same shit that they have been on, or you coming at them in a different manner, I want to come on to fulfill good music. I'm not coming off that, yeah, I love women, and I'm gonna tell you this type record, but even Good Loving, when I wrote that record predominantly and particularly because you see all the women that's walking and they switching on Instagram. There's somebody filming that woman, and if it's not a girl doing it, there's a guy that they like that they don't feel irked out or they don't feel weirded out taping them like that.
Yeah.
And I wrote that song for that guy. I can say that I wrote that for him. What you think? Because it's not in the history of women that like boys.
That's right.
They practice a certain walk. They practice to walk switching, and they practice to appeal to be appealing to guys, to little young boys.
Right.
And that song is answering you. This is what we think on some grown man stuff. Now, I'm not going to have no teenager singing that to no. I wouldn't tell my nephew to sing that to a young girl. But to a grown man singing that to a grown woman that ain't got kids and grandkids and all this and been through it, yeah, I'm letting you know this is what it is. Boom, boom. But it's a beautiful record. It's like I've yet to have one grown woman not like that record because they get the message in it and they understand the message because that's what Southern Soul is about. The vibe, it's real music. My biggest record to date. Shot at My Girlfriend was a dope record. You know what I'm saying? Everybody love that record. We just got to get the business straight on that because that's a Lucy Pearl sample.
Yeah, no, I knew that. Because that was one of my favorite records from Lucy Pearl, but it was quick.
I love that record, but so we get the real business, then we get the real push on it. Like I got the semi-clearance on, but we get the real business, and I get the push. But right now, ain't no big to me.
Oh, no, that record.
I wrote that record. I took the backstory. I got my mama's picture here, and I'm sitting right here in this room where I wrote it, in the studio. And I lied to you not. I don't know what it was, pills or whatever, but I was contemplating suicide. Lost the closest thing to me didn't have. And I didn't know what the fuck I was living for, bro.
Okay.
But I knew my dad was here, and I was sitting there, and I was talking to my mom spiritually, and because she loved the Lord, and she was very spiritual, but she was from Kinloch, Missouri, which was a very, very hard city. And she was a tough woman. Yeah. Like, she can go to church on Sunday, but if you cause her to, she would curse you out Sunday night. That's just who she was. And my mama would always say, because she was raised, she only had 2 boys. She didn't have no girls. Right. And she said it. She said it weekly. Sometimes I would hear it a lot. I'm not raising no bitches in this house. And when she said that, it wasn't derogatory for women. She was, yeah. She meant that I don't want y'all living off no woman.
That's right.
Because you can't come stay back here when she puts you out. I don't want you to be no loser to no child that you bring in this world. I don't want you to not be able to get up and go get a job. I don't want you to not, when I'm not here, be able to take care of yourself. And I remember those words that night. And that's why the verse says, oh no. My mama said, don't be acting like no hoe. You're a man, you're supposed to get it on your own. Don't shack up with no woman. You get your own. Like, all those lyrics came to me that night because that's what she said to me. When she told me, you better not. You better not do that to your daddy. You better not do that to your brother's kids, because who they gonna have? You better not do that to yourself. So that night, when I decided to switch over and start writing music, I always think about, damn, look at all these people loving this music, and think about the tragedy to yourself, not to anybody else, but to yourself. If you're not, it just stop. If you went ahead with that and you're not believed in yourself and went forward. So that's the story I want to share with anybody. We all go through shit in life. Right. And the older we get, we're going to lose somebody.
You're right.
But our people raise us to keep it going, and we keep, because that's life. And we keep pushing, and we believe in ourselves. And if you have something in life that you want to do, that you've never done, or that you even, I tell young people all the time, start before me. If there's something in life that you want to do, it's crazy what happens when you really believe in yourself, bro. That's all I say. It's crazy. And if it's really meant for you, and what's for you, you die for you, can't nobody stop. But if it's something that you really, really good at, and it's really your passion, and you really believe in yourself, oh man, I'm here to tell you, bro. I'm sitting here, and I'm not the only one. There's other stories, but I'm a story. I don't know any other stories that started from the street team, made it to a music industry major label. And then been able to flip it, become an artist with motion, and still be able to do that in this one full circle. That shit is dope to me. And at the end of the day, to be able to bring DJs on this ride with me, not just sit here and call DJs and tell them, can you play this record, or bring DJs on this ride, because the momentum that we're on, and I told my partner Big Phil, if we do this, we're going to change the narratives of not just our lives, but of the DJs that help us do this lives too. Because I Googled this. The most expensive plaque right now, old plaque, is an Aerosmith plaque. 700. It's worth $750 on eBay.
Damn.
$750 is the most expensive plaque. And I'm only saying this to say the plaques that record label reps, and that's cool because that gives us, because I'm gonna give plaques out too.
The plaque is more for.
It's our personal reward.
Yeah, that's appreciation.
That's appreciation, and that's our accolade that we can look at.
Yeah.
But what I want to do to change the narrative is because your grandkids can't look at that plaque and get nothing from it. They can look at that, but they don't necessarily know. But I want to help change the narrative with individuals because I have you.
Yeah, I gotta thank you for that.
Part of that.
I gotta thank you. I gotta thank you for that.
Part of that.
I showed my grandson. Yeah.
Part of that.
I appreciate that.
What I got is I have it because we call them champion. I learned this on the major labels. They said call your champion DJs, and your champion DJs are the ones that you know call you and they got your back.
Yeah.
And if they messing with the record, because if it's a whack record, they're not gonna mess with a champion or not. But if you got a good record, they're not gonna give you no flack. They gonna support you. So when I started this, I said we gonna call the champion DJs my brothers, the ones that's rocking with me. But we're not gonna just be calling them champion DJs and just come in and do a plaque and feed them.
Yeah,
my
yeah.
My champion DJs own Brougham Publishing.
Yeah, man.
You included.
Yeah, you know.
Because I want Stank Man, who I've seen your grandson grow up from a baby, his grandkids to be able, they won't even never know you. Because they might not, because we gonna be gone.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna have met you. But they gonna see pictures. And when that mailbox money comes, your name will ring forever. It won't ever be gone.
Yeah.
But Sam Walton, his great grandkids they don't know him.
They don't know who the hell he is.
They don't know who the hell Sam Walton is.
But they know.
But they fucking know what Walmart is.
You ain't never told a lie. You ain't never told a lie.
So that's the narrative I wanted to bring with the DJs helping me do this. And I got other independent artists, because major label artists, they can't really do that because they don't have control.
Oh, no.
They publishing like that.
Yeah.
But I say this to any artist in motion. If you got some DJs that's helping you, even if it's that one fucking DJ that stood out the window and jumped out the window and said, I'm going to help, it's my man.
Yeah.
And you just going to shake his hand and give him some shit, keep it moving? Nah, we ain't off that, man.
Yeah.
We're not off that.
Yeah.
We're not off that because I want this whole ride. I want you with me the whole ride, bro. Because guess what? How long? And this has nothing to do with no payola. This is showing love to people that's with you.
No, yeah, there's a difference.
You contributed to my music anyway. You help make the record anyway. So you on the split sheet regardless. If anybody asks, it's the truth.
Yeah.
And that's a story we're sticking to anyway.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. That's my business. It is what it is. But my point of saying that is to say, who am I to sit here and ask another human being to help make me something to obtain my goal and keep my promise to my brother for his kids? And then all I do is come in and say what's up, or you can get me on the phone, or you might get me on a discounted for a show or something, in which that and it's gone, it's all whatever said and done. And then the end game for DJs is Pooh Heff. Pooh Heff had to pull teeth when he had that health scare.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Jay-Z spearing it off, Jay-Z just said forget it. And he broke out and he started the chain, and then everybody else wanted to come in. But if it wasn't for Jay-Z starting that, Pooh Heff was having to beg people for some money for his health scare. That brother wouldn't have been here today.
Well, there was a lot of things that, unfortunately, we learned late in life because we thought we were immortal, and we didn't, not even paying attention to what the hell our parents were going through. It was right there. It was right there, but we just chose not to recognize it. So when you start looking at hip hop, like you said, like even with Pooh Heff, Red Alert, Mr. Magic, rest in peace. Like when we start looking at pioneers to us that we didn't think they aged. You know what I'm saying? Like that before us, got into the industry. We're just considered babies because if we didn't get in at the right time, you know, we were just babies. You know what I'm saying? And Yeah, and even though I was a grown ass man, to me, I thought I was. I came into the industry at 25, but I was like, I I remember the first event that I ever went to was in Miami. Radio Raheem and them's joint. What was that? MLS. What was that convention? The dope one with Radio Raheem and God damn, I can't remember. I think
The last one in Miami. We went to.
I think the last major one they had was in the Bahamas.
When the Mix Show Power Summit.
There we go. That's what I'm talking. MPS. Mix Show Power Summit was the first industry event that I ever went to. And when I tell you, like, I learned that the first time in Miami, I was just like, I was a fan, but I had to be professional, and I needed to learn how to separate being a fan. Like,
certain way you move, it's just a certain way you move in order to keep the respect.
Yeah, like it was.
And there's a certain way you move, especially if you're coming in young. It's
Yeah.
a certain way you move, and you got to learn that early.
But you got to learn it into a point that you can't let nobody else know that you're learning. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be. Ludacris put that hole in the song in the background, and when he said, "When I move, you move," just like that. You know what's so crazy? Quick story about Luda. I first met him years ago as Chris Lover. He was on 97.5. And K-Sly was the DJ on this show. And K-Sly's my homegirl, right? So in a nutshell, what I'm saying is that I was at Lil' Kim's birthday party at Michelle Power Summit, and it was at Amnesia. And we were upstairs, and it was me, Brando, I think Tony was there. Like, we were just chilling in the VIP area. And I remember Brando was like, "Hey man, you know my dude Luda?" And I was like, "Yeah." I said, "What's up, Chris?" And I'm talking to Chris, and then Lil' Kim comes up, and she goes, "Who's this?" She said, "Who's this tall drink of water?" And then I was like, I didn't know she was talking to me, but anybody who knows Ludacris is like 5 foot nothing. Yeah, so I was like looking around, and she goes, "You ain't gonna give me a kiss for my birthday?" At that point, I did. I gave her a kiss, but at that point, that was the moment that I was like, okay, I'm indoctrinated. Like Jazzy Faye was like, everybody was showing me all kind of love, right? I don't know if it was because I was tall. I don't know if it was because I moved different. I don't know if it's because I was #1 in my market. I don't know. But what I did...
Well, I'm here to tell you, it was all of that together. Like, as far as the image and all that, that's whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as far as being an all-around good cat, yeah, you're the top cat in the market. That helped, but you were still approachable. You were humble the way you was moving. Like, you was a good dude. So everybody, I remember, like I'm telling you this while we stayed, we've been cool this whole time. You've always been this real good cat.
Yeah.
Even being the top of your market, you didn't treat like cats like me. I'm brand new. It was like you was more in tune to when you started to where you was at.
Yeah. Well, it was more about, again, this is learning from everybody else that, like, I remember when I met Big Vaughn in LA, and I told him, I was like, "Nigga, like, I'm a fan." And he's looking at me like, "What?" And I was like, "Nah, man, what you did on that Cornerstone tape was so memorable to me. When me and Mark got on the Cornerstone, I think it was 60-something, I purposely went on there and said, 'Yo, it took y'all 60-something tries to get this right.' And Mark and I blazed the hell out of that mixtape, but I told Mark, we have a point to make. Because the market we're in, nobody knew who El Paso was until we got there. You get what I'm saying? Like, nobody cared about El Paso. Nobody was trying to come there. Nobody was trying to take trips. Nobody was trying to do anything. And what they were doing, when Mark and I were traveling, we were traveling to the Bay. We were traveling to LA. We were traveling to Miami. We were traveling to New York. We were traveling to Atlanta. And just to make everybody say, wait, what's going on in El Paso? Wait, what are y'all doing? What kind? Y'all, and I'm like, nah, we get down over there. We ain't no slouch. We ain't nothing. And I always stood 10 toes down about that. Like, I was like, nah, I'm gonna talk about where I live. I was like,
shout out, Lester Pace told me to give you a shout out because we were working with Lester. And when I told Lester I was doing this with you, he told me to give you a shout out.
Ah, Lester, what up? I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Well, look, I'm gonna let you do what you gotta do. On this podcast, even though it's not music related, I want to play that Ain't No Bitch in Me right now. And then we're gonna have to chop it up very soon. Because this conversation could go on for hours.
Yeah, it can keep going for hours. Like again, I'm sitting again. We're partners. You're part of.
Yes, and I appreciate all that love.
So we're in business together.
Yes, sir.
So obviously, when we're on the road, we're gonna be getting content, and we get another. You know what I'm saying, another one in there. But again, when we first started, it's my friend. Like my brother. And some people say, what's up, bro, and this and that and the third.
Nah, we brothers.
Your brother and my friend from when, like, for all these years, never lost kind like this. So, and again, my brother, my friend, my business partner. You know what I'm saying? In business with me because he owns Brougham Publishing. Right?
That's some hot shit, bro.
That's fly to me. That's fly
to me, bro.
I'm sorry, anybody else, that's fly as fuck to me to be able to say that these DJs who helped me become from street team to executive to artist is in business with me, dog. That's fly to me, bro. That's the fly shit. Not to me doing it by myself or elevating. I want to lift as I rise. Not all you know what I'm saying.
It's gonna be beautiful.
So yeah, we're gonna tap back in. Yo, shout out to my brother. Pooh motherfucking Heff. Right now, y'all tuned in. Y'all about to check out my biggest, this first Southern Soul song I wrote. And I wrote this for anybody that gets up every day and got some hustling. It ain't begging nobody. It ain't asking nobody because they can go get it themselves and they can take care of it. And if they got a ball, they gonna pay it right back. Because ain't no bitch in you like it ain't no bitch in me.
Salute.
Love you, bro.
Already.
Yeah, I was talking to this girl a little younger than me, man. And she said, Brougham. I said, yeah, baby. She said, you know, I've been dating these guys out here, and they all said amen. But if you want to know the truth, they all act like bitches. I said, baby, ain't no bitch in me. Ain't no nah. Ain't no bitch in me. Ain't no nah. Hey, ain't no bitch in me. Ain't no nah. Now, my mama said, don't be acting like no hoe. You a man, you supposed to get it on your own. Don't shack up with no woman at a home. Cause she put you out when you're calling for the loans. But now she got a whole nother hitter, spending every other night with her. We should've let her know. Ain't no bitch in me. Ain't no bitch in me. Ain't no bitch in me. Ain't no Ain't no bitch in me. Ain't no bitch in me. Ain't no bitch in me.
Smoke dog, they sell more signing in. Lord, it ain't no bitch in me, and I can promise you that. Don't be fooled, cause I'm humble and I show some respect. And if I said it, then I meant it, I ain't taking it back. And I'm trying to be better, but God ain't done with me yet. So I'ma do what I want to, and say what I want to. You feel some type of way, that homie, do what you gon' do. Ain't nobody excluded, but I'm talking to you too. And I act this way because of the shit that I've been through.
Oh no, my mama said don't be acting like no hoe. You a man, you're supposed to get it on your own. And if anybody else, you forget it. I said it ain't no bitch in me. 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 Ain't yeah. Ain't no bitch in me. Ain't no bitch in me. Ain't no bitch in me. Ain't no bitch in me.
1991, see your haze high. What the dudes you dumb corny, but the ladies were fly. Hanging with the day, career that master getting black pussy. Yeah, and he lived around the way. Knew this girl named Shay. She was mixed, but always willing to play. So I let her. Claudia was a chick that drove like Jetta. Mexican broad, and she believed she was go-getter. Met this girl.